She got them all like cattle prodded into alignment. She just drove the impeachment. Remember Nancy? She's crazy. She just said, hey, Senator McCarthy, you don't get to appoint anybody to our fake January 6th committee. And Kevin McCarthy was like, okay, I won't. And then he didn't. And then she appointed Kinzinger and Cheney and just took over the whole country. That was Nancy Pelosi. I don't know what the Republicans are doing, but they can learn something from her in terms of leading their party. Anyway, so she's gone, which is good for our side, golly. Now, we also saw that this was a story that was just breaking this morning. We'll probably come back to this in the afternoon. Yeah, they're filling it out a little bit. Yeah, it was just... Anyways, I got the documents on this, but I wanted to flag it. The appeals court is now going to be reconsidering the removal denial of the New York case. Remember the criminal convictions, 34 felonies, whatever. Now, 3-judge panel in the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit said it cannot be confident that they adequately addressed Trump's removal request. Okay, so the federal courts were asked to take this case away from Alvey because Alvey said, Trump said this has to do with federal election rules, right? Because they govern financing for elections. Alvin said, we're not going to use that charge in our prosecution of the president. It's not going to be federal at all. It's completely different. It's all state-based. Then turns out in the trial, it actually is federal when in the state court trial. So now Court of Appeals is reviewing that, saying, feels like you may have lied to us about what you said you were going to present in the state courts. And so maybe we'll look at it again. So good news on that. We'll probably come back to that on the show, but I wanted to flag that for you in case we do not. But also another big story that we're waiting to percolate today as we're pausing until we're back in the afternoon. Steve Baker and the Blaze, man, they should be identifying the J6 pipe bomber? What? Baker said the rumor is true. There is a high degree of certainty that the J6 pipe bomber has been identified. Kash Patel's like, what? How'd you guys do that? For real? Given the inevitability of the leaks, we briefly discussed our findings on Glenn Beck's show this morning. The full story should drop today. This was a post yesterday. So stay tuned for that. That's a big one. So if we have some good news on that, we'll, of course, cover it later. But big story over from the Blaze, and that is, of course, very exciting.